Welcome back to the Don McKay Show here on RadioOnFire.com. Thank you for joining me. Of course, we're at the Radio on Fire newsroom here in Baltimore, Maryland. And, man, there's a lot of things that are on my desk here and taking headlines straight from RadioOnFire.com/news, where, of course, you can go to get the latest and the greatest, as my man Greg would say. But I definitely encourage people to become a premium subscriber to Radio on Fire Plus, and you get a lot of exclusive content. Of course, you get access to our Radio on Fire members only show on the app or on RadioOnFire.com. Exclusive post-game extras and behind-the-scene coverage, and of course, your opportunity to interact with hosts and celebrities during Radio on Fire town halls and special events. So $2.99 a month. You can do that. RadioOnFire.com/join. So here in Baltimore, police arrest 2 in the shooting of an off-duty sergeant. If you guys remember that story, we talked about it extensively here. Today, this happened. The arrest of 2 people in the shooting of Sergeant Isaac Carrington. And of course, Isaac Carrington is the officer that was shot and in shock trauma for 2 weeks. So this was serious. He was shot multiple times back in August of 2019 during what they're calling an attempted robbery outside of his home, which was in Northeast Baltimore, is in Northeast Baltimore. Of course, we remember this story. We talked about it, as I said. Police identified those arrested, young people, okay? Karan Foster, 25 years old, arrested, and Rashad Neesmith, 18 years old, also arrested. Of course, famously, whatever you want to call it, Baltimore Police Commissioner Michael Harrison was in the hospital room with Isaac Carrington, and he had him make a statement that he was going to be back. He did not, talking about the police commissioner, he did not say what led to the arrest of these 2 individuals. Instead, he just said that the detectives were working hard on this. And Harrison said that these officers spent long hours away from their family collecting evidence, countless pieces of evidence, and executing over 60 search and seizure warrants across the city of Baltimore, and all of that in pursuit of these suspects. So they're laying it out that they have the suspects. These are the people that they believe did the shooting. And Carrington, from all accounts, seems to be a nice guy, 22-year veteran of the Baltimore Police Department, was talking to a neighbor when a masked man, as I said, this is broad daylight, a masked man, broad daylight, demanding property after jumping out of a car. Now, the neighbor threw property and ran. They're not saying what's property. Property could be anything. And he ran. They ran, rather. Now, Carrington ran, but the gunman gave chase and shot him multiple times. Does it sound like a robbery? I mean, because I've seen people get set up before, or heard about them. Not seen. I've heard about people getting set up before, and they fake like it's a robbery, and then shooting starts, right? So this sounded like that. I mean, did he get anything from this robbery? You wouldn't say robbery gone wrong. I guess if the gunman was insulted that he did not comply, and then he shot at that point. But this is a police officer, and it's not going to look good for these young people. The shooting, of course, one in a string of violent crimes carried out against police employees over the summer. It was I'm not going to say it was a free-for-all, but there were a lot of assaults on police employees. Now, these arrests and others announced at today's press conference all involve investigators from the ATF, Well, the ATF combining with the Baltimore Police Department. We are one team working together to reduce violent crime in the city, a special agent in charge of the ATF Baltimore field office said. So they're all working together. Of course, State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby said that the city must send a message to anyone who terrorizes city neighborhoods and called for more witnesses to step forward. Now, I want to focus on that statement, okay? As I said, State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby said that the city must send a message to anyone who terrorizes city neighborhoods and called for more witnesses to step forward. Now, that statement there lets me know that this crime was solved by witnesses coming forward. Why did she say it like that? More witnesses coming forward implies that there were witnesses that came forward already, right? She didn't say we need witnesses to come. She said we need more witnesses to come. More witnesses to come. And that means that, as I say frequently, police don't solve crimes as much as people come forward and tell what happened. Okay? People come forward and tell what happened. And Marilyn Mosby said this, and this is true: justice is best sought by working together. Okay, police said that the investigation into the shooting of this officer is still open. It's still going on. There may be other shoes to drop. Harrison, Police Commissioner Harrison, said that the arrests in several homicides, these kids participated in other acts of violence, and Foster and the 17-year-old were also charged in a string of recent shootings, armed robberies, carjackings, and a fatal triple shooting, most of which occurred in the Northeast District of Baltimore. So, it is. Police also made arrests in a September 2nd shooting in East Baltimore that happened in Loch Raven, it's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and the police are encouraging people to come forward and talk to them. And I think that's a great segue to what many are calling the rise and fall of a hip-hop bad guy. Tekashi 6ix9ine coming forward, naming people, talking about Trippie Redd, the rapper, in a fight that they had, and pointed out Casanova, the rapper, as a gang member. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but definitely some of the transcripts from Tekashi 6ix9ine, the rapper. I mean, come on, he hasn't been gone that long. Y'all remember Tekashi 6ix9ine. But first and second day in court, the transcripts have been released, and Tekashi detailed various incidents during his time with the 9 Trey gang members that he pointed out and identified in court. And he also detailed an altercation that he had with Trippie Redd. He named Casanova as a blood. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Of course, the transcripts laid out by Inner City Press via their Twitter page, and of course, follow them at Inner City Press. So, Your Honor, the government calls Daniel Hernandez, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's in prison blues, and Deputy Smallman just swore him in. It's on, and they give blow by blow. So here was the question. Were you a member of a gang? And the answer being yes, 9 Trey Bloods. Question: what sort of thing did 9 Trey do? Robberies, assaults, drugs. That was the answer. Question: do you recognize anyone in court? Answer: Anthony Ellison has a gray suit on. Mac has a brown suit on. Okay? Question, where did you go to school? Answer, PS 59, right? Public School 59. Campos Middle School, Legacy High School. Question, did you work? I started working at 13. My first job was at Youth Corps for about 2 months. Didn't make a lot. So bus tables with my brother, then grocery store boy, delivery boy for 2 years. So of course they're getting background on Tekashi 6ix9ine, and he talked about some of his early working in a store back in 2014, and all that good stuff. So this continues and goes on with the rapper that people know as Tekashi 6ix9ine. It's crazy that we even have access to this. But when he starts to talk about his money and the money that he made while rapping, okay, so he talked about that he toured, in Europe, different places, and he said that for all the shows, I made about $2,000 profit. I did it just for the experience. It changed in September 2017. Filmed a music video in Bed-Stuy, and he talked about that. And this was, we're still talking about the early stages of his career. So this is when he filmed the Gummo video. Okay, so he talked about some touring that he did in Europe, filming the Gummo video, which is the first video that we really saw that really blew him up, right? He signed a 20% management deal. For management deals, 15 to 20% is pretty customary. And he said he starts rapping in the hood. And he starts talking about who the management deal was with. It's a guy named Billy. And Billy is, according to 6ix9ine, a 9 Trey. So I asked him to provide members for the music video. So that's gang members for his music video. And he said he met him at a studio in Williamsburg. Okay, and so starts talking about Shadi and others that are involved in this case. Also brought a bunch of red bandanas. Met Pablo, is shown a photo and says Shadi, and then he reveals Shadi's name. I've never seen anything like this. I thought before this trial started, I thought this was something that Tekashi could come back from. I don't see it. I don't know. The government played a song called Loud, and 6ix9ine is pointing out all the guns in it, linking one of the guns to Shadi. And when asked, was it a real gun, Tekashi says yes. So he started continuing that breaking down street slang in the courtroom, pointing people out, devastating for him as far as his image. And so they asked what Gummo was about. He said that it's a diss song towards like somebody I did not get along with. Trippie Redd was part of the 5'9" Brims. And I mean, the fact that Tekashi is pointing these people out and speaking about alleged gang affiliation, very troubling for him. Okay. Did there come a time that Gummo was released on the internet? Question. Answer is yes, it went viral, meaning people shared it. I just put it up on YouTube and said whatever happens. Talking about the music video. So you put a music video up and this one caught fire. I remember hearing about the song, listening to the song. I like the song. And so, hearsay. Shotty said that little rainbow head knows that he doing. Knows what he's doing, I guess. And so they start asking him about different songs. And, so this is interesting. Tekashi said that before I changed my style of rap, I liked this kid called Kuda. I thought he was talented, so I named the song after him. Kuda was filmed in Brooklyn, the intersection of Fulton Avenue, and it's 9 Trey members who live there. And as he's going through, the government is playing parts of songs and using these songs to help shape their case. They're pulling transcripts of his lyrics, and it's really crazy. Okay, that is like I said, I've heard of cases where the government has used people's lyrics against them, and this is one of those situations where the words coming back to haunt him. So interesting. Here is a question from the government. They said, so what did you get from 9 Trey? Answer, I would say my career, credibility, protection, all of the above. So this is something that many people thought, that he was hiding behind the Bloods. Treyway was something that we could market. Could you demonstrate the handshake? And he demonstrates a handshake. And he says that he did that a lot with Shotty. And, he starts talking about them going out, strip clubs, other music videos. He identifies people in photographs, and talks about the leadership structure in the gang. This is the kind of stuff that we've seen in mafia cases where members of the mafia kind of point people out. But this is really something that, as I said, in hip hop, we've not seen this from a rapper. We've not seen this before. At least I have not. I don't know of any people that did anything like this. But as I said, transcripts, you can see transcripts on radioonfire.com. And, they start talking about big money when that started to come in. And like I said, a lot of people being named, a lot of people being identified in photographs. It is a really, really crazy thing. And Trippie Redd, as I said, Casanova coming up in the conversations, being identified. Tekashi said of Trippie Redd, me and Trippie Redd were signed to the same label. That's a lot of jealousy involved. He was signed first. I later on signed a couple months after. We had a song together. It was successful. Then jealousy, we got into online disputes. We attacked him, talking about Trippie Redd, at his hotel. Question, can you walk the jury through what happened? And he answers, of course. Trippie Redd's manager said he wanted to squash the beef. At the time, I was very upset with him. He has already said a lot. Trippie Redd's manager gave us the address of his video shoot. I told Shotty I wanted something done about Trippie Redd. Shotty said, say less. We'll get on top of it. We go to Red Hook, Brooklyn, or around there, industrial area. I'm in a Jeep. We see Trippie Redd's Sprinter van. We surveillanced it, waiting for Trippie. Shotty said he had a few of the homies meet us up there. We stake out. Trippie Redd comes, gets in with 15 people. We follow him for an hour on the highway. And I recall Harv coming in a 4-door Honda, the Sprinter van. Gets to the hotel. I don't want to get spotted. Shotty gets out, tells me to stay in the car. Harv parks parallel to the hotel. He's with like 3 other guys. Shotty comes back screaming, "It's fucking Treyway. I love me." Continues. And then they detail the assault. Shotty said Harv punched Trippie Redd in the mouth. For some reason, Harv's lawyer has not objected. Maybe it'll come up in cross-examination. Is what's observed. I mean, just detailing these things, and I suppose this happens all the time, right? I suppose this happens all the time in cases, but for us to see Tekashi, who was portraying himself as a tough guy, and many people knew that was just a portrayal, but to see this spelled out like this, and he talks about Harv, who was essentially a bodyguard for him, and they continue on about the incident, other people coming involved, and it is really something that the state is doing to really build this case and show every aspect of this organization that they can, to paint them as a violent gang, detailing assaults and who knows what else they're going to come up with. But like I said, if you want to see the transcripts, you can do that. It's pretty lengthy, and it continues. As I said, transcripts kind of continue with the government asking Tekashi to break down song lyrics, street terminology, and detailing assaults and alleged criminal activity. And so Tekashi took the stand yesterday. He took the stand on today, and it's going to continue. But he's in court speaking about his kidnappers. This, of course, coming after the attorney for Tekashi's alleged kidnapper compared Tekashi to actor Jussie Smollett, claiming that Tekashi staged the 2018 attack for attention. That was kind of floating out there. This was right before his album dropped, and so they're putting that out there. But Tekashi, as I said, he spoke on the incident in the past, claiming that he thought he was going to die. Photos emerged of the rapper in the hospital after news broke of the incident. If you remember, he had injuries to his face. This is a very very crazy thing, and it was already over. But I think this is the end of the Tekashi 6ix9ine. I was thinking maybe he could spin it some kind of way. There's no spin in this. There's no spin in this, of course. You met Diamond K in here, the Radio on Fire newsroom here in Baltimore, Maryland. Of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Become a premium subscriber to Radio on Fire Plus. You can do that at radioonfire.com/join. $2.99 a month. You get access to Radio on Fire shows via our app, via radioonfire.com, exclusive content, post-game extras, behind-the-scene content, and much more. As I said, radioonfire.com/join. News, information, podcast, video, audio, live streams, everything. radioonfire.com. Your man Diamond K. I will see you guys tomorrow.